Some inspiring news out of that area. We told you yesterday about people who waited better than 5 hours to get on a blood line to provide blood for those injured and needing it in the area. If that wasn't enough, reports that multiple fundraisers are kicking off, and they're raising so much money, it's ridiculous. This guy kind of kicked it off. Stephen Cloobeck, he's the founder of Diamond Resorts. He joins us right now. He just wrote out a check earlier today for $400,000, and he says he's not done. He joins us right now. Steve, thank you very much for joining us.
Neil, thank you for having me.
What do you make of what's happened and the impact it's going to have on your town?
Well, look, I've been in the business for more than 30 years, decades, and I see a town that has come together like I've never seen before. It used to be, you know, us folks on the Strip that would kind of hang out together and run our businesses and create this wonderful touristic economy. But we've got doctors, lawyers, we've got nurses. Everyone's come together. Folks that are donating blood. We have too much blood, so we're going to have to wait a couple more days. But it's just absolutely tremendous, the outpouring of love and hope and peace that we've got coming together in this community.
And you're right.
Las Vegas is strong.
It doesn't surprise me. You know, any minute we're going to be interrupted by this press conference. I hope you'll indulge that. But I did want to get your take on this new effort now to police who gets into casinos, maybe wand check them, magnetometers, that sort of thing. What do you think of that?
You know, being in the business and an expert, I don't know that it's going to solve the problem. Maybe you can scan luggage like they do in Israel. But, you know, I think this community does an unbelievable effort. The first responders, the police, the fire department, and the security departments at every hotel really have their act together at watching who's coming in and out. This is a random act of heinous violence. And I don't know there's a way to protect this other than maybe new gun laws.
Yeah. You know, Steve, another thing I thought of, too, is that whether people get nervous about coming to Las Vegas, not so much for, you know, indoor events, but there's so many outdoor events there, and whether you worry about that it's just going to put a chill on tourism activity, at least in the near term there. And what do you tell folks who want to visit but might be skittish now listening to us?
This is no different than going to the Giants game in New York, no different than going to the Packers game in Green Bay. This is the same thing. So you can't be afraid. We have to stand up to this heinous violence in a different way. And I would ask our officials, if they're too afraid to have this conversation, then step aside and let those step in to have the conversation. That's the only way we're going to cure this. This has nothing to do with Las Vegas.
To rein in on guns, is that what you're saying?
To rein in on insane guns.
Okay.
I mean, I'm all for guns. I'm all for guns. I mean, but automatic weapons, 42 or 45 weapons, where you can shoot 1,000 rounds. I mean, come on. That's a little bit insane. And this can happen anywhere in the United States. And our country is notorious for this, and we need to have this conversation, and we need people who will have this conversation. We can't have people. I was very involved in passing, a gun check law in this state, and the Attorney General unfortunately shot it down, Adam Laxalt, and the voters passed it. And the voters want this. And I think there's a bipartisan effort to get this done of people of like minds on both sides that can have a thoughtful discussion to make some difference here.
Yeah, I think
so. Maybe we can make some.
Point was, and part of the point I remember this when this was going on, I remember it distinctly was, you were not saying, you know, you're anti-gun, but the crazy multiple guns, automatic kind of weapons that, you know, let's say, for example, hunters or sportsmen wouldn't need.
Neil,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had a CCW myself. I'm all for it. I've talked to all my friends who like to hunt. They agree with me too. This is insanity. Enough is enough.
So you draw the line that some of these other, you know, rapid fire, you know, machine gun type weapons that hunters wouldn't need, I think is just what you're saying, right?
Exactly, and I heard that some of these weapons were changed to make them rapid fire. They were modified, so that's going to stop too. So enough is enough, and it's not a campaign. It's about us collectively, a bipartisan effort, sitting down for those that want to have the discussion. And it's got to happen. If this isn't telling enough. So I don't know what more to say. Other than the first responders were great.
Yeah,
our community blows my mind. I'm standing here on the site, Neil, and I see a lipstick case on the ground. I see 2 pairs of shoes on the ground from those that fled this scene. And it makes you want to cry. It is just heartbreaking. But at the same time, this community is heartwarming. And that's what Las Vegas is about. We take care of people. We are the land of hospitality. We are the international land of hospitality. So we've seen this in other places around the world. We will recover, and you're all going to come to Las Vegas and have fun. This is where we all have fun.
Well,
I don't think anything will change.
It's a great city. There's no denying that. And don't get me started on your breakfast buffets. But, Stephen, I did want to step back and get a sense now of what you think happens among some of your colleagues and some of the other casino owners and operators who now probably are thinking, all right, we have to beef up security beyond what we've done. We have to check luggage. At the outset, you said that was kind of impractical. Maybe the city will establish tougher ordinances to that effect. You seem to think that would be an overreaction, a mistake, and not, wieldable, right? Is that where you're coming from?
Being in the business for a long, long time, I think that's an overreaction. Okay. And I can tell you that my friend Mr. Wynn, Mr. Adelson, Mr. Murrin, they've got the best of the best security teams.
Okay. Stephen,
on their staff. They really do.
I don't mean to jump in you, Stephen, but authorities now are beginning to speak. Stephen was referring to fellow casino operators in Las Vegas and their reaction to all of this.